Okay, Eric, the next lot we have here is a Rolex GMT vintage 1675 dating back to 1967. It's got the original box, papers, and all the pamphlets that came with the watch. So why don't you tell us a little bit about this watch?
Yeah, this
One of my favorites.
This is a very special watch because it's very rare to see 1960s Rolex watches with their original boxes and papers. So just opening and seeing this watch was sort of an adventure of itself. It has this very unusual green booklet, which I'll show you in a second. The original guarantee punched, sort of unusual for 1967. This very cool box.
The condition of this box even is amazing.
It's really cool. I love the green color. This is sort of more of an army green. This is your more traditional dark green. And the watch itself is spectacular. It has the famous gilt glossy dials of 1960s Rolex sport watches, the Pepsi bezel. But what I really like about the watch is just the condition of the dial. It's spectacular.
It's in great shape.
That printing really just glows like gold under the light when it catches it, and the tritium lume on the dial and in the hands has developed a really warm color. So this has a gilt glossy dial. The dial base, rather than being matte like later watches, is covered in a finish that makes it glossy and shiny, and the Rolex printing and the GMT-Master superlative chronometer officially certified is all gold in color and sort of glows in the light. It is spectacular to see. And then with these watches, the lume color is very warm. It's sort of a warm yellow cream color. Of course, with more modern watches today, the lume's very white, not quite as charismatic as a vintage watch. That's one of the things that I really like. And in many cases, the hands and other parts of a watch have been replaced with time. These are the original hands, which match the dial perfectly. And it's got, the original crown. It has a period correct bracelet. The bracelet's a few years newer than the watch. Probably the owner had it replaced because these are kind of flimsy rivet bracelets and wear out with time. So it was not uncommon to go back to Rolex and buy one of these bracelets, which was only a few dollars at the time. You have a few gilt watches in your collection.
I do, and it's hard to let one of these go, to be honest with you. But in keeping with the auction and the theme of the auction, I think it's a great opportunity for someone to pick up something that truly is an amazing addition to any collection.
Yeah, and funnily enough, these watches didn't sell so quickly back in the day like they did today. So this watch was made probably more like 1965, and then sold in
much later, a couple of years later.
Yeah, December 20th, 1967.
Yeah.
I can't even make out who it was purchased from, the retailer. Something like Francis Bean or something like that.
That's in like almost brand new condition as well.
And it's interesting. So it was just sold December 20th. So clearly someone was buying it as a Christmas gift or buying it for themselves for Christmas. Probably more likely a gift. Funnily enough, the salesperson crossed off the serial, which is punched all the way through, and of course matches the watch, and wrote 1675. They probably didn't realize that the serial number is separate and distinct from the reference number between the lugs. So that's pretty funny. Maybe they took the bracelet off and looked and saw 1675 and thought that was the serial number.
Yeah. Luckily, it's punched.
Yeah, so it's punched all the way through. Very unusual to see from that period. And I really love this, that the buyer clearly put in the box with the watch. I've never seen this booklet before. It says, "I want a good watch," in the sort of unusual font. And
I love it.
And then on the back, it says, but it must be really good, ... It must be a watch I can be proud of. I want to rely on it always. I want my friends to know I have a watch which never fails to tell the right time. It must be a Swiss watch because the Swiss have specialized in making fine watches for hundreds of years. They're the most advanced in technical design. They know how to make the infinite pains necessary to ensure that each tiny part is perfectly made and finished. The Swiss are just born that way, Paul.
Yes, yes, they are.
It's just amazing. And then you open it up, it folds out, and it has sort of all the cornerstone models for Rolex at that time. Of course, the Explorer with a gilt dial, a Submariner reference 5513, and the GMT-Master 1675. Even the photographs show that the watches that are chronometer certified have the little red seal. The 5513 was not chronometer certified, so they just show it with the anchor for 200 meters. So this is the exact model with the exact same coronet, clearly a gilt dial that we see before us. Pretty spectacular to see. The other side has a lot of ladies' watches.
Dress watches. Yeah.
So
But this is kind of funny.
Yeah, so
Love
it's,
it.
I
Love
mean,
it.
I really find this, I mean, no one would make a booklet like this today. This is sort of that Mad Men era of more creative advertising. It's just really cool. Amazing that the person buying the watch at that time had the foresight to just sort of take it, put it in the box, and then you've put it away for many years.
We actually had another customer years ago buy a GMT in the war during the Vietnam War, same model, almost the same year, a couple of years earlier, and kept it secret from his wife because he didn't want his wife to know that he had bought an expensive item, because they were expensive back then for the time.
Yeah.
So you hear all these amazing stories. So the watches truly are amazing, but some of the stories behind them are even more amazing. And this watch is a great addition as well.
Yeah. We're very excited to offer this GMT Master reference 1675 with box and papers in our auction running September 5th through the 12th on bobswatches.com/auction. You can register there to bid. The starting bid on this watch is $19,000. Paul, am I allowed to bid?
No, Eric, you're not allowed to bid on this watch either, but it's a great, great piece of history here to buy, and I think it's an outstanding addition. But Eric, no, you're not allowed to bid here. Sorry.
I'm hoping I'll catch you in a good mood and you'll say yes one of these times.